888-431-CARE. Smile, you're with people who care.
All right, well, you know, at this hour, airports, thousands of travelers across the country are still working through delays and cancellations caused by a circuit board glitch in the FAA's computer system very early this morning. It is fixed now and appears to be just a malfunction, but could our air traffic control system suffer a more severe hiccup by hackers? And let's ask someone who knows a thing or two about the subject, Dmitry Alperovich of McAfee Global Threat Intelligence. You know, Dmitry, what's scary about this is how it just shut everything down. I mean, how does that happen?
Oh, glad to be with you, Neil. You know, this incident, we don't believe it was an attack, but it really underscores the vulnerabilities that we have in this nation. Vulnerabilities related to cyber, in particular what we call our critical infrastructure. The transportation sector, as we saw very dramatically today, our financial system, our energy grid, our electric sector, they're all very, very dependent on cybersecurity, and they're all very vulnerable to these sorts of attacks. One of the things that we see at McAfee is hundreds of machines, what we call zombies, that are infected in enterprises, particularly critical infrastructure companies worldwide, essentially under control of cyber criminals and perhaps nation states that can do severe damage to these corporations.
What I worry about, though, is that even though this was not a cyber attack per se, something cyber was attacked. I mean, and it went down, and you know, it got back, but we've seen incidents of this in the past, some deliberate, some quite accidental. The power grid going down, accidental nevertheless. The whole power grid went down a couple of years ago. Are we right for this kind of thing happening more often?
Well, you know, in this case, it was a fairly benign incident when you look at it. Obviously, the airline suffered some economic damage. Some travelers were inconvenienced. But, you know, it doesn't take a Hollywood producer to figure out a scenario that's much more dire with loss of life potentially involved. You know, if you think about the adversaries that we have out there, nation states that want to do us harm, terrorists, even if you look at the FAA, drug dealers that may want to shut down the radar systems so that they can import drugs into this country via the small planes flying into Florida, for example. So it's a very, very serious issue, and we're really unprepared as a nation to deal with it.
So I always thought that maybe there were very smart folks in Washington or elsewhere in some super secret bunker with a lot of computers that were watching out for this sort of thing to catch it before something like that were to happen. Are you telling me, A, that there is no such bunker, and B, that if there were, it's not going to help anyway?
Well, the problem really we have is that there are a lot of bunkers, and most of them don't talk to each other. So there's government, obviously, systems, military systems, and private sector systems that are under attack on a daily basis. There's not a whole lot of information sharing and coordination that's happening today. We at McAfee, for example, just released a report on this very issue. People can download it off McAfee.com, and it looks at the issue of cyber warfare and the fact that there are nation states out there that are arming themselves with very sophisticated technology and capabilities, integrating them into their military systems, and really preparing themselves to attack other countries. There are really 5 countries that are on the lead in this area. China is one of them, Russia, France, Israel. Luckily, we're one of those as well. But what we've seen in the United States in particular is that we're really hesitant to use those capabilities. We had a case just recently, a few years ago, during the Iraq War, where the military and the Bush administration was considering using a cyber offensive capability to shut down Iraq's financial sector in order to prevent Saddam Hussein from laundering money during the invasion. But in the end, they decided not to use it because they feared that the vulnerabilities within the U.S. Financial sector were too great, and there would be too much blowback on our own systems from this sort of attack.
Amazing. Dmitry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, well, all that talk about jobs saved or created, well, I've been saying there is something off about that for a long time. Turns out government watchdogs now agree with moi. And former White House advisor Mary Matlin joining Don Imus on Fox Business tomorrow morning. That should always be interesting. Stick around.
You wanted more business news. You wanted more information. We needed more TV. Fox Business Network. Available in HD.
They've been tested, built, and driven like no other. And now they're being offered like no other. Come to the winter event and get an exceptional offer on the Mercedes-Benz of your dreams. It's our way of showing a little holiday spirit. But hurry, the offer ends soon.
Now, Life Alert can also protect you in a fire emergency. Whether it's fire danger, a serious fall, or other type of emergency, Life Alert is there for you.
Thanks to Life Alert, you can live alone without ever being alone. And that's why I wear one.
All senior citizens should have Life Alert.
Please call 1-800-696-1212 for free information about Life Alert, or visit us on the web at the address on your screen.
If you buy the renegade idea that investing should be discussed face to face, not just inbox to inbox.
If you believe that your relationship with your investments shouldn't be long distance.
If you hold the wild-eyed theory that nest eggs, like children, should never be left with strangers.
Join the nearly 7 million investors who think like you do. FaceTime and Think Time make a difference.
Join us.
At Edward Jones, it's how we make sense of investing.
I'm a pretty big deal in the fashion world, the country's leading supplier of triple insulated window treatments. I got these tassels. Awesome.
The Shanghai Philharmonic uses my acoustic foam in their concert hall. Opera's huge in China.
I'm in the defense industry.